Good morning, good morning. This is Pierre Laguerre here, your daily motivator, here to challenge, inspire, and motivate you. So today on episode 363, we are here again for another weekend reflection. So I'm glad you're aboard with me. I'm going to challenge you today, of course, inspire and motivate you. But you're going to love this because today we're going to be talking about focus on this particular weekend reflection. This week I've been pretty consistent on putting up more episodes on my podcast than in the prior month, and I'm happy about that because the focus is really to drive home the fact that there's value that I have for you and that you can get this value. There are things that I've put out there for you this past week that you'll absolutely enjoy. And of course, if you're listening to this podcast, know that I do have a webinar that I'm doing this Sunday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, so feel free to join me on it. I'm only going to be online for an hour, and I'm going to teach on the best online business you should start. And the reason for that is because, of course, as an entrepreneur, somebody who's running my own while taking care of my children, I want to make sure I impart to you the opportunity to learn what you can do, especially if you're unhappy with your 9 to 5 or you're looking to start running something on the side that eventually can become your primary deal. So with that said, let's jump into it. One of the key things that I want to bring out to you is this. You, at one point, have to focus on getting results. The same way doing this podcast will drive into getting you results. My focus for you is what results are you looking for? So let me challenge you right now. At some point in your life, you got to stop being the student and start becoming the teacher. You see, in the Jewish tradition, when somebody became a rabbi, it didn't mean they stopped learning, but they went from being a student to now being one that walks with authority, being one that walks with a teacher, with a certification, basically. Think of it that way. Once you're certified, you are now the teacher. You know, it's like your doctor. If you go visit a doctor, he's certified. You know this guy is not still in school, still learning. You know that he's not necessarily practicing on you, but rather he's practiced on a whole lot more folks before you, including, of course, in school, on cadavers and whatnot. But the point is this. He's had training and is certified in his training. So with that said, what I'm challenging you to is this. At some point, you got to stop acting like a student and become a teacher. But until you do that, here's the pitfall you're going to get into. You're going to try to find 100 different teachers. And I love what Paul shares with the church is like, listen, though you have 10,000 instructors, you have not many fathers. And fathers really are no one else but the true mentors in your life, the people that you're planning to learn from. And think with me, fathers are the ones that stay with you. They stay with you to see exactly what you're going through. They don't run away from you, specifically as you're facing different issues in your life. And, you know, speaking as a father myself and working right now, writing my book on fathers, you'll see it coming out very soon. The key point is this. You've got to, at one point, stop being the student and become the teacher. But not just any kind of teacher. You got to become a teacher that's like a father. One who's willing to stay, one who's willing to share his wisdom with others, one who's willing to impart. And so this is what I want to share with you. I mean, what happens in school is we go to school and we spend a majority of our life learning. Nothing wrong with learning. Learning is good, especially when you can learn from other people's experiences. But my challenge to you is at one point, you've got to start teaching others. You've got to start changing the equation. You know, if right now in school you were doing 90% learning and 10% teaching, once you step out with your certificate, like a doctor, the equation has to change. The balance has to change. And what I think happens, especially in business, a lot of us, we have this imbalance where, you know, and I've suffered from it too. There's the bright, shiny objects. Everything that comes out, you must put your hand on it and see exactly what it does. But here's the key. If you were to focus on that one thing, you would drive enough results, and eventually you could go on and do other things. For example, where I live, there's a swimming pool. Doesn't go deeper than 5 feet. Matter of fact, it's 4 feet and 6 inches. But not too far away, I'm looking a few, about 100 feet down from the cliff. There's the huge Caribbean Sea. Actually, this is the Atlantic Sea. So we're looking there. It would be great to go for a dip in the sea, but the sea is more turbulent with the waves than a swimming pool that's sitting there calm. So if you wanted to teach a kid to swim, where would you take that child? Yeah, absolutely. First, you would take that child in the swimming pool. You would teach that child, and eventually that child would learn the importance of breathing properly and ultimately becoming a better swimmer. And eventually, when you take them to the sea, you would teach them about the riptides and everything that exists over there, right? Or with the sea, because it's more dangerous per se. Doesn't mean it cannot be mastered. Well, in the same way, you start a small business, at some point your business is growing, and you got to take your business into bigger waters. You see where I'm going? But once you get into bigger waters, a larger target market, a larger market, you have to understand there are new perils that you're facing. And that's why 80% of businesses fail in 5 years, because they've not learned to understand that there are riptides in the market. There are fads that happen in the market. Beyond fads, there's also opportunity for competition, because you're not the only one out there. There are sharks in the water, for example. Oh yeah, when you're close to the shore, you're not going to find sharks or huge animals. I mean, we've seen some whales passing by here once in a while, and they'll show their tail fin, and they're enjoying the water. But coming back to this, my point to you is this: you have to develop the confidence to become a teacher, the confidence in your plan. And what happens to do that, I think, there's a few things. First, you've got to focus. Focus on what? Your destination. Then you've got to make a decision. What is that decision? Step up, step out, and follow the path, right? And ultimately, you got to run and get it done. You've got to get to the destination. So to back up, a lot of us, we have way too many mentors. So as a result, we're listening to Peter, Paul, and John, but we're not necessarily focused on our destination. So I'm going to ask you to cut out all these extra mentors in your life and choose somebody. Come on. It's going to be for your good. If you can't choose just one person, choose one or two. But stop running after mentor here, mentor there. You need to focus and follow one course. The word focus usually is an anagram for follow one course until successful. So think about that. Go for that one course. And then what I'm going to tell you is this. A lot of us are afraid of making mistakes. What mistakes are you afraid of making? This is life. We're all going to make mistakes. Nobody's going to be perfect. One of my mentors, again, talking about mentors, used to say, look, the one thing you need right now is to take a lot of imperfect action, massive amount of imperfect action. Until, to get to the dream team level, you're going to have to do a whole lot more. And my challenge to you is, are you willing to make mistakes along the way? Yes, guess what? You'll catch them and you'll fix them. But at least understand this. We've all made mistakes, but unless we're willing to keep going with a spirit of excellence, because what happens when you make mistakes, if you have a spirit of excellence, you'll fix them. You'll recognize your mistakes and you will fix it. Wisdom is not to leave the mistakes and let them trap you again, but rather to say, oh, I learned something here. I learned something there. So if this is resonating with you, hit me up. Give me some feedback here, and I want to hear from you, because some of you have commented before and told me, yeah, this is making sense for me. As I live in Puerto Rico with my children, what I want to share with you is this. These weekend reflections are a way for me to connect with you. So connect with me. Let me know how you're doing. Do you have a business you want to start? Jump on this webinar with me that I'm offering tonight. Do you have plans to do something in your life and you've been the student all this time? I'm going to challenge you. It's time for you to be the teacher. And again, you have the opportunity to start driving your plans. This is your life. And as always, I want to challenge you. I want to inspire you and motivate you to take action. So this has been Pierre on Weekend Reflections with you here, talking about your focus today and just reminding you that you've got to go for it. You've got to take massive amounts of imperfect action. Don't worry about the final result. You will reach your destination. So with that said, have a great day.